The Mental Capacity Act, Checking Capacity. The Mental Capacity Act became law in 2005. The Act affects people in England and Wales who are 16 years or older. This Act is to protect people who don't have capacity and their carers. The Act means that there is more control and choice for people who don't have capacity. This is because the person has to be involved in making decisions about themselves. So what is capacity? Capacity is being able to make decisions and remember the decisions you make. Here is a list of the 5 most important things people must do and think about when using the Act. The Mental Capacity Act, the big ideas. Number 1. Start off by thinking that everybody can make their own decisions. You should not assume that a person lacks capacity because of their age, disability, or how they act or behave. No one should assume that you cannot make decisions because you cannot make more complicated decisions. You have not been able to make decisions like that in the past. Number 2. Give the person all the support that they need to help them make decisions. We have all had bad days when decisions can wait. If a person thinks that they can make a decision on another day, it can be put off until then. Number 3. No one should be stopped from making a decision just because someone else thinks that it is wrong or bad. Number 4. Anytime someone does something or decides for someone who lacks capacity, it must be in the person's best interests. There is a checklist for this. Number 5. If something is decided or done for another person, it must try to limit the person's own freedom and rights as little as possible. Best interests. If someone has to make a decision for a person because they cannot make it for themselves, they must decide what is in their best interests. To do this, they must listen to what the person wants, ask people who know the person, and also make sure that they are included. No one can decide what are in a person's best interest just because of how old the person is, how the person looks, how the person behaves. What is not covered by the Act? Some decisions can never be made under the Mental Capacity Act. The decisions that cannot be made on behalf of someone else includes whether to get married or make a civil partnership, whether to have sex, placing a child for adoption, voting at an election, doing things in connection with care or treatment. If a person needs care or treatment, someone can give them the care and treatment they need. This might happen because the person needs help in deciding what care or treatment they want, because the person cannot decide because they do not have the capacity at the time. The person caring or giving treatment must follow the best interests checklist to decide what is in your best interest. If the person has made a lasting power of attorney, an advance decision to refuse treatment, or has a deputy, then that person would make these decisions if the person having treatment lacks mental capacity. To find out more about lasting power of attorney, an advance decision to refuse treatment, or a deputy, have a read at the Mental Capacity Act, an easy read summary. New Independent Mental Capacity Advocate, IMCA. The Mental Capacity Act set up a new service, the Independent Mental Capacity Advocate, IMCA, IMCA. IMCAs help people who have no family or friends. They help people when important decisions have to be made involving health services and local authority services like social services and housing departments. These include decisions about serious medical treatment or moving to a hospital or care home. The independent mental capacity advocate may become involved in other types of decision as well, such as adult protection and care reviews. The Act says what the Independent Mental Capacity Advocate Service must do. The government has produced more rules about how this service should be run. Top tips to remember. Always remember that just because a person cannot make a decision about one aspect of their life, it does not mean that they cannot make a decision about another aspect. The Mental Capacity Act is about one decision at a time. Make reasonable adjustments to create an environment that is accessible and helps the person think about decisions. Take a person-centred approach. Think about how the person communicates by talking to the person, the carer, and the people who know the person best. This could be through pictures, signs, vocalizations, sounds, and any other medium. How does the person usually make decisions, and what decisions does the person make in their everyday life? Think about how the person learns about information through words, pictures, keywords, etc. Think about how you will check that the person has understood what the treatment entails. Think about how you will record the consent of the person that can be given verbally. Check to see if the service or authority you work in has a capacity test.